Imagine that all the girls or ladies or women from League of Legends exist in real life with all their personalities and behaviors. Which ones would you date? And which ones would you never date? Today I'll rank them on a red flag scale in relationships, from the safest to those who will destroy you emotionally or even physically. Let us briefly go over the evaluation criteria. Green flag, D tier, almost perfect. Reliable, adequate, sincere. Relationships with them will be as peaceful as possible, well, as much as possible in the League of Legends universe. Yellow flag, C tier, like think about it, be patient. These are the characters who are generally reliable but have their own quirks. Some are obsessed with duty, others are emotionally immature or vulnerable. They are often strong leaders who demand not only love but also willingness to share their path and keep up with them. It is about difficulties, not toxicity. Red flag, B tier. Caution, there are signs of inadequacy. These are more difficult. Female characters in this category are often unstable, not ready for reciprocity or equality. They are prone to immaturity, dependence, or demanding too much. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but you will find yourself in the role of a parent, savior, or victim. In such relationships quickly become exhausting and destroy balance. Serious red flag, A tier, better run. Dangerous and destructive. They may have severe psychological trauma, a tendency to manipulate, or unstable behavior. In relationships, it means control, pressure, and psychological stress. Very dangerous red flag, S tier. Super dangerous, don't even try. That means toxicity, cruelty, lack of empathy. There is no love or partnership here, only destruction. These are characters to stay away from. Don't even try. It is worth mentioning that some of the females in League of Legends aren't exactly human. But to make things more interesting, let us imagine that they do have a real human representation, while retaining their character, thinking, and behavior from the lore. Because only then can we honestly evaluate them as potential partners. Let us start with those who are more like spirits or guardians. Ionia is the eternal guardian of Freljord, a creature that embodies wisdom, sacrifice, and the pursuit of harmony. She radiates calm, and with her you feel like you're under the protection of an ancient good spirit. In a relationship, Ionia will be the one who always understands, supports, and metaphorically embraces you with her wings. She doesn't argue over trifles and is always ready to seek dialogue rather than conflicts. She's a partner who makes you feel stable and warm inside. Definitely a green flag. Next to her in terms of soulfulness is Lilia. She's even softer, like the embodiment of a dream and kindness. Her shyness, desire to help everyone, and caring attitude towards emotions make her incredibly touching. In a relationship with her, there will be tenderness, care, and a constant desire to do good for you. The only thing that can be difficult is her vulnerability and introversion. But if you're ready for a gentle, slightly shy love, Lilia is the embodiment of the bright side of Runeterra. Green flag, D tier. But not all spirits are so harmless. Lilia's opposite is Kindred, or more precisely her other half, Lamb. There is no evil or anger in her, but there is no warmth either. She's the embodiment of death, like silent and indifferent. When you're around her, you feel like you're invisible. She doesn't get angry, she doesn't argue, she doesn't demand anything. She's just staring. And that just staring is scarier than any aggression. A very dangerous red flag, S tier. And then there is Evelynn, a demon who feeds on suffering. Her flirting and charm are just a lure, a mask that hides her predatory nature. Her goal isn't love, but power and pain. She brings people to the peak of their emotions, only to destroy them and feed off it. In real life, such a person is destructive. Evelynn is incapable of empathy or genuine affection. She seeks out those who have light, so she can extinguish it. A relationship with her is manipulation, sadism, and a dangerous game with no chance of winning. But while Evelynn deliberately enjoys the suffering of her victims, Briar is an unconscious, unbridled thirst, chaos, and hunger. This creature is literally designed for destruction and suffering. She may seem cute and curious like a child, but losing your grip and everything around her becomes her feast. There will be no stability or predictability in a relationship with her, only danger. You are not a partner, You're a potential source of flavor or taste. S tier. Let's move on to the Void and take a look at Belveth. It is hard to call her a creature in the usual sense. She is a walking mind made up of distorted memories and suppressed minds. She feels no emotions and knows no compassion. In relationships, she sees only benefit and control. To her, you're a tool, a resource. There is no equality here, nor are there any feelings. An obvious and frightening S tier. Rek'Sai is in the same category. She doesn't manipulate or make plans. She just attacks. Her behavior is pure instinct. Aggression, defense, reaction. In real life, this looks like a person who is ready to explode at any trigger. No stability, only fear and uncertainty. A very dangerous red flag. S tier. But it's not just monsters that pose a threat. There are also characters who seem nice at first glance but demand too much from their partners in relationships. Let us take Yuumi, for example. Charming, cute, fluffy, but also completely irresponsible. She demands attention, care, and essentially turns a partner into a father figure, a daddy. She is not evil, just immature, and everything serious always falls on your shoulders. Red flag, B tier. Lulu is similar in spirit. She is just as charming, enchanting, and chaotic. She is fun, magical, always happy, but completely oblivious to the consequences. Serious conversation. She turns you into a squirrel and laughs. Stability. Only in your dreams or imagination. In a relationship with her, you will always be the adult who has to restrain the madness. Also a red flag, B tier. Poppy, despite a serious exterior and sense of duty, is also not so simple. The problem is that she lives for her mission and ideas, forgetting about her feelings. She is neither evil nor crazy. She just doesn't know how to value herself as a person, and therefore others as well. Next to her, you will feel a cold distance and emotional unavailability. Red flag, B tier. Now for a little adventure. Tristana is a typical explosive female character. Energy, drive, liveliness. She's fun but also exhausting. She can be sincerely devoted but doesn't always know when to stop. A relationship with her is like a ride on a crazy roller coaster. Fun? Yeah, truly, but hold on tight. Yellow flag, C tier. Gwen, on the other hand, is gentle and bright, like something out of a fairy tale. But beneath this kindness lies a strong emotional dependency. Her fear of disappearing turns this into a dependence on others, makes herself dependent on others. And at times she demands too much reassurance that she's loved. She's not toxic, but neither she is entirely mature. Red flag, B tier. Next comes Vex. Constant melancholy, irritation, toxic indifference toward positivity. Even the brightest personalities quickly fade away around her. It is not malice, it is a constant immersion in despair. And unfortunately, she might drag you down with her, and she will drag you down with her. Serious red flag, A tier. Callista is kind of similar in tone, but while Vex extinguishes everything around her with her depression, Callista is a cold avenger. She does not forgive, she does not forget, and she does not allow weakness. Everything must be clear and according to her rules. Her nobility is in the past, and in the present, she's just a phantom of pain and rage. A serious red flag, A tier. And finally, in the category of creatures goes Not-Fearing. There is nothing to discuss here. She has renounced her personality and lives for the pack and destruction. She doesn't need relationships, she needs power and submission. With you, she's not a partner. She's a hunter with prey. S tier. Stay away. Now we move on to the largest and most complex category, human and humanoid female characters. These are not just ordinary females, but those who are endowed with magic or have animal traits while retaining quite a human appearance. We will move through the regions and see which of them are green flags and which are real disasters. We'll start with females connected to Ionia, a region where philosophy, magic, and past traumas are all tangled up in a complicated mess. Here, almost every woman has a whole story of inner struggle, strength, and contradictions. The first of these is Syndra, a hurricane of pain and power. Her childhood was spent under oppression, her strength was suppressed, and now all she does is resist. Her emotions are explosive, her anger knows no bounds. A relationship with her is like a whirlwind with no room for stability. She's not about partnership, She's about power and protecting her own boundaries. A serious red flag, A tier. Akali is a storm of emotions and principles. She left the Order of Kinko unable to accept their restraint. Her path is always direct, sharp, impulsive. Even with those close to her, such as Shen, she doesn't always listen, acting on inspiration and inner anger. Relationships with her will be passionate and intense, but also constantly turbulent. She's sort of a moody person who doesn't know when to stop and how to stop, even when she needs to. Red flag, B tier. It is easy to get lost in a hurricane of emotions with her. Karma is the guardian of balance. She embodies the wisdom of all her past lives and carries within her not only deep understanding but also a willingness to make difficult decisions. Her character is mature, calm, and compassionate. In a relationship with her, you will find support, honesty, and a mature partnership. Karma is not about drama, but about inner strength. Green flag, D tier. Similar in her steadfastness and dignity is Yunara, a silent protector for whom honor and loyalty come first. She may seem cold at first glance, but behind her reserve lies a person with a deep heart and firm principles. In relationships, she is not the one to make scenes or play games. Her feelings are sincere and her care is expressed through her actions. Honesty and respect are important to her, and she expects a mature approach and gives about just as much in return. If she is with you, it is for good. Green flag, D tier, no doubt about it. Next to them in terms of reliability is Xayah. Stable, principled, but sincerely loving. In love, she is honest and open, as can be seen from her deep and sincere feelings for Rakan. Her anger is not impulsive, it is not toxic, it is rather protective and righteous. It is directed only at those who destroyed her people in her home. I see neither red nor yellow flags in her. This is not aggression but a reaction to real pain and threat. Not forgiving your enemies when they attack your land is not a problem, but a position. The green flag, D tier, is there because Xayah is a partner with whom you can build honest and lasting relationships. But not Ionian female characters are so stable. For example, Irelia is passionate and stubborn. She is ready to do anything for her people and sometimes lives on the edge, between leadership and personal burnouts. The pain of loss and inner contradictions make her emotionally complex. She is caring, but she will always share her attention with her mission. Yellow flag, C tier. In the same quote-unquote vein is Ari, charming and vulnerable. Her past is full of guilt, pain, and struggle with her own nature. She literally fed on people's life essence, often called souls, and couldn't stop for a long time. The loss of her lover and the burden of memories have made her withdrawn, prone to self-isolation and prone to strong emotional swings. Despite this, over time she has learned to accept her pain and has become deeply empathetic, even capable of empathizing with her enemies. Relationships with her will be passionate but unstable. Her moods change and her instincts can take over. Yellow flag, C tier. She can be genuine, but her inner demons are still there. And now from Ionia we head to the frosty expanses of Freljord, where love is forged in battle and snow. Ashe is another example of a woman who has put her cause above her feelings. She is noble, level-headed, and keeps her distance, because her priorities are her people and leadership. It is like being paired with a famous political figure. You're always there, but not always in the spotlight. She won't be toxic, but there is not much romance there either. Yellow flag, C tier. Sejuani is similar to Ashe. Strong, strict, and moving forward no matter what. She won't give weakness a chance, and if you're not ready to share her values, you're her enemy. In a relationship with her, you can expect fierce loyalty, but also cold demands. She will not tolerate compromise, neither will she soften up for love. Yellow flag, C tier. At the opposite end of the spectrum is Aurora, a female character full of compassion, calmness, and quiet care. She's a little bit strange, but always ready to help. Her kindness isn't intrusive. She won't smother you with attention, but rather create a safe space where you can be yourself. Sometimes she can get carried away trying to help everyone, but there is nothing truly dangerous about her. Green flag, D tier. Lysandra is the complete opposite. She's a strategist, a controller, and a cold calculator. In relationships, she will be demanding, emotionally unavailable, and intolerant of failure. The ice in her soul hides in an insecurity and fear that her past will catch up with her. Despite her obvious strength and patient waiting, she will always keep those around her at a distance because her fears and secrets will not allow her to be open. Most likely, with her, you will always be just a tool for her plans. A serious red flag. A tier. We are transported to the sandy Shurima, where two opposites find themselves side by side. On one side is Talia. She's young but has already experienced the pain of betrayal and disappointment. Yet, she has retained her kindness, compassion, and strength to fight, not for glory but for others. She's the kind of person who will choose support over revenge, acceptance over condemnation. In a relationship with her, you won't hear any shouting, but you will feel that you are valued. She will not condemn weakness because she herself knows what it's like to fall and get back up. That is why Talia is a green flag, D tier. She's one of the brightest characters, truly. Severe is the complete opposite. Where Talia believes, Severe doubts. She has experienced too many betrayals to trust anyone easily. Even after learning that she is a descendant of emperors, she chose freedom and money over destiny. She is not interested in ideals, she survives and that's it. In a relationship with her, you will always feel a distance. No matter how close you are, you're still being tested. She may be there, but she could leave at any moment. This is a red flag, B tier. You're not her enemy, but you're not her friend either. You will have to work very hard to prove that you're not to be feared. From the sands of Shurima, we move on to the harsh halls of Demacia, where we meet one of the most principled characters, Vayne. Her life is a hunt for darkness. No compassion, no hesitation, only goals and means. The mentor she considered her mother died at her hands, simply for possessing magic. Even when Vayne became one of the Sentinels of Light, she didn't change. Everything magical is a potential threat. There is no room for vulnerability in your relationship with her. You must conform to her system, or she will eliminate you. This is a serious red flag, where even love must be tested for ideological purity. Alongside Vayne in her uncompromising nature is Kayle, but while Vayne is driven by revenge, Kayle is driven by justice. She judges the world from above, accepting neither excuses nor weaknesses. She even rejected her own sister for the sake of order. Her love for the ideal is stronger than any other feeling. In relationships, you're not a partner, but an object of justice. If you sin, you will be punished. Even if she later allows herself to feel emotions, her essence remains unchanged. This is not the most dangerous red flag, but it still is red, B tier. But where one sister punishes, the other, Morgana, forgives. She's the embodiment of merciful but strict justice. Morgana listens before judging and forgives if she sees remorse. Her strength lies in understanding the pain of others because she has gone through it herself. But there is steel in her compassion. She can bind with chains to make one feel the weight of guilt. She wears her wings bound in chains as a reminder not to forget her humanity. But this choice has made her lonely, broken, and somewhat detached. She embraces others but still feels anger for her destroyed past. That is why, just like her sister, she has a red B tier flag, not because she's dangerous or categorical, but because she still lives in the past. Quinn is a completely different example of maturity. After losing her brother, she did not become embittered, but devoted herself to protecting others. Calm, devoted, and reserved, she does not demand attention or seek power. She prefers solitude and duty to society and honors. In relationships with her, there will be few loud words, but a lot of genuine support. If you become quote-unquote one of her own, she will always have your back. Green flag, D tier. Senna stands out against this backdrop, a rare example of how it is possible to preserve the light even after a life spent in darkness. From a young age, she has faced pain, loss, and the black mist, but she has not become embittered. On the contrary, she has learned not only to survive but also to do good, accepting her fate. Senna is a partner who understands weaknesses, knows how to be there and support in difficult moments. She is reserved but not cold, strong but not oppressive. Her relationships are based on honesty, respect, and inner maturity. She is a reliable green flag. Fiora, on the other hand, is a true Demacian. Where others act gently, Fiora is harsh. She's a duelist for whom honor and strength are above all else. From an early age, she rejected imposed roles, proving that a woman can be Demacia's best sword. In relationships, she will be demanding, cold and principled. She will not tolerate weakness or lies, and she will not be lenient. This is a yellow flag, C tier, because you might have to be her equal, otherwise she will not see you as a partner. Lux is a complete opposite of Fiora. She also has strength, but it comes not from control but from the light within her. Despite family pressure and strict Demacian traditions, she has remained true to herself. She knows how to feel, believe, forgive, and fight for those she loves. She does not blindly obey. She knows how to argue, defend her values, and go against the system if it causes pain. But she does so with respect and warmth. In relationships, Lux is a sincere, mature partner. She knows how to listen, support, inspire, and doesn't turn kindness into self-sacrifice. Her light is not for show or naivety. It is a conscious choice to remain gentle, even when the world pulls her into darkness. One of the purest green flags, D tier. If Lux is light in the form of words, like literally, almost literally, then Sona is light in the form of music. She does not speak, she feels. Sona is quiet, delicate, and sensitive. She does not demand, pressure, or judge. She simply stays close. She's there, creating an atmosphere of calm and acceptance around her. Her silence is the language of comfort, and even though she is almost invisible, you will surely remember how you felt calm for the first time when you were near her. Definitely a green flag, D tier. But not every Demacian brings peace. Shyvana is a conflict between two principles, the animal and the human. She can be loyal, kind, and self-sacrificing, but inside her burns a dragon. Her emotions are strong. Her anger is destructive. She is afraid of herself and at the same time trusts only those who have accepted her unconditionally. In a relationship, one can be loved and still get burned, because one moment she is warmth, the next she's a flame. The red flag, B tier, is not for malice, but for danger. She may not want to cause pain, and yet she does. From the noble halls of Demacia, we move to the heart of an empire of ambition and power, Noxus. Here, power is valued above feelings, and only those who are willing to step on weakness in themselves and others do survive. The females of this region are no exception. They are not about support, but about strength and trials. Let us start with Mbesa Madara, the embodiment of harsh maternal power. In her world, feelings are weakness, love is a requirement, and compassion is almost a crime. She can care, but only through force, control, and expectations. In her eyes, a partner is either a reliable ally or an obstacle. In a relationship with her, you will find no softness, only challenge. This is a woman who will love you only if you abide by her rules. A serious red flag, B tier in this case. And perhaps in contrast to her stands her daughter, Mal. Unlike her mother, she does not use force. She acts with words, strategy, and subtle calculation. She has warmth, but it is always hidden behind a veil of self-control. She can be there for you, support you, inspire you, but she won't let you in. Her feelings are off-screen, her vulnerability is behind armor. She does not destroy, but she doesn't reveal herself either. A yellow flag, C tier. If Mel prefers the chest of diplomacy, Cassiopeia acts like a snake. Poison, cunning, predatory elegance. She doesn't just use people, she enjoys it. For her, a partner is not a companion, but a bargaining ship. Get too close, and you're no longer a person, but a victim. A very, very dangerous red flag. S tier. Against the backdrop of her manipulations, LeBlanc seems like a shadow architect. She doesn't seduce, she creates reality. Illusions that you will never tell from the truth. And you won't realize you've been manipulated until it's too late. She'll never say it directly or pressure you, but she will still do what she wants. Feelings are just part of the script for her. In her eyes, there are no partners, only tools, pawns in a long game. In reality, such a person destroys a personality slowly but surely and steadily. You lose yourself trying to respond, please, and understand, and only then do you realize that you've been played all along. A very dangerous red flag, S tier, is because of absolute control, total manipulation, emotional coldness, and masks instead of feelings. Katarina is cold and reserved. She won't express her feelings or be open. but she won't play games either. Everything she does is business. As long as you don't get in her way, she can be reliable. But if you do, she won't hesitate to get rid of you. That's a red flag. B tier. Samira, on the other hand, is fiery and lovely. She lives fast, emotionally, constantly striving for action and adventure. She can be fun and exciting, but she can't stand stability and routine. Her constant need for thrills makes her unstable in relationships. This is also a red flag, B tier, a warning sign of inadequacy. Riven is a woman hardened by war, guilt, and disappointment. She grew up an orphan, believed in Noxus, devoted herself to service, and was betrayed. After the tragedy in Ionia, where her squad was killed, she renounced her past and lives as an outcast, seeking atonement rather than forgiveness. In relationships, she's honest, reserved, and direct, but she rarely lets anyone into her space. Her emotions are buried deep inside, and it takes time, patience, and respect to build a close relationship with her. She doesn't play games, lie, or cheat, but she doesn't open up right away either. The yellow flag, C tier, is there because with this person, you won't run into toxicity, but you will run into the coldness of pain and detachment. She is capable of deep connection, but only if you are ready to be there for her, calmly, without pressure, and with the understanding that her path is one of atonement. Rel is direct and a bit rough. She doesn't lie or manipulate, but she expresses her feelings sharply and often aggressively. She's been through a lot of pain and doesn't know how to deal with her emotions gently. She has a need to protect, but she expresses it through harsh actions. Yellow flag, C tier. Next up is Annie. Here, it is worth clarifying to avoid any misunderstandings that, according to the lore, she is still a child. But in this case, we're considering her exclusively as an adult character, taking into account her personality, trauma, and behavior. Annie was shaped by loss, loneliness, and instability. On the outside, she may seem soft and touching, but beneath this mask lies a deeply traumatized and dangerous nature. She does not control her emotions and reacts sharply and destructively. Even the slightest conflict can trigger uncontrollable aggression. She feels no remorse for the consequences and can act impulsively and cruelly. Relationships with such a person require professional help and distance, not self-sacrifice and quote-unquote healing through love. A very dangerous red flag, S tier. And last from Noxus is Elise, completely predatory and controlling. She seduces only to dominate and destroy. There is no honesty or empathy in her relationships, only power, submission, and dependence. This is also a super dangerous red flag, S tier. After the turbulent and gloomy Noxus, let us talk about characters from the Void, specifically a character from the Void. Kaisa is a girl who wasn't consumed by the Void, but it changed her forever. Cut off from the world since childhood, she survived alone, fighting monsters, and this hardened her spirit. Kaisa is silent, always collected, and rarely shows her emotions. It is easier for her to die for you than to talk to you heart to heart. She cares, but her way of showing it is through actions, not words. Being with her is like standing next to a suit of armor, protected but distant. The yellow flag, C tier, is there not because she is dangerous, but because it is very difficult to build emotional intimacy with her. Next, we move to Bilgewater. Elawi, like Kaisa, is strong and independent, but completely different in spirit. Elawi doesn't hide her feelings. She has basically subordinated them to her mission. Serving Nagakaboros is her purpose in life, and in that sense, there is no room for compromise. She cares, helps, and supports, but on her own terms. You will not become the center of her world. You either walk beside her or stay behind. This is not coldness, it is rather conviction. You can be on her team, but not at the center. The yellow flag, C tier, means stability, but no flexibility. Miss Fortune is the other extreme. After the tragic loss of her mother, she rebuilt herself. Cold-blooded, calculating, charismatic, and very dangerous. She knows how to be charming and passionate, but she's almost never truly open. Relationships are a means to an end for her. She keeps everything under control, and if you become a threat to her plans, you will quickly find yourself out of the picture. The red flag, B tier, means it's easy to fall for her, but difficult to feel truly loved. No less bright, but completely different, is Neela. She shines, laughs, and is always confident. But behind this joy lies tragedy. The demon Ashlash has robbed her of all emotions except joy. She feels no pain, no fear, no sadness. She's always fun to be around, but it's like looking at an empty mirror. You never know what she's thinking. In relationships, she gives herself completely, but never shares her true self. That is a red flag beats here. Nila is a beautiful mask with no depth. We move from the waters of Bilgewater to the peaks of Targon, a place where people become aspects and fight for the starry truth. Diana is one of the most emotionally complex characters in this part. Everything in her is on the edge: passion, pain, and anger. She is rejected by society, disappointed in her faith, and lives with open wounds. In relationships, she can be deeply loving but also destructive. She doesn't know how to share her pain, she just keeps going, even if it breaks her. With Diana by your side, you'll feel the fire but also constant danger. The red flag in the B tier is there because depth comes at the price of instability. If Diana is pain and rebellion, then Liana is order and faith. She is loyal, noble, and strong. She will care and protect, but always from behind a wall of duty. Feelings are secondary to her compared to her vows. She is not cruel. On the contrary, she has a lot of warmth, but it almost never shows on the surface. Relationships with her are reliable, but not always truly close. The yellow flag in the C tier is there not because she's a bad partner, but because the path to her soul is close to most people. Against this backdrop, Zoe looks like a meteor, bright, cheerful, chaotic. She's captivating but does not linger. Her attention is like a flash, unexpected, exciting, and fleeting. She's not malicious. She just lives in a world where nothing is taken seriously. Relationships are a game to her, and you never know what level you're at. The red flag in the B tier is there because she's immature, emotionally unstable, and chaos easily turns any contact into disappointment. In contrast to all of them is Soraka. She is a celestial being who voluntarily chose to live among humans to heal rather than judge. She embodies tolerance, warmth, and tranquility. Despite her immortality and thousands of years of experience, Soraka has not lost faith in humanity. She has seen evil, pain, and betrayal, but she continues to believe in good. In your relationships with her, you will feel accepted without conditions. Soraka does not judge, pressure, or try to change you. Her care is quiet and sincere, and she knows how to be there when you need her. Non-obtrusive, supportive, and respectful of your boundaries. She is neither a savior nor a martyr. She's a mature, stable personality with whom you can grow and be yourself. The green flag in a D tier is there because Soraka symbolizes that rare form of love where you don't have to prove anything to be loved. Nami organically continues this list of bright female characters. Despite her combat path and responsibility for her people, she remains kind, caring, and balanced. She knows how to listen, support, and be there without pressure. Her devotion comes from the depths of her soul, not from a desire to control. At the same time, she is honest, straightforward, and reliable. The only thing that can get in the way is her tendency to put duty above personal interests. But this is not coldness. Rather, it is a sincere belief that caring for others is the meaning of life. The green flag in a D tier is there because with her it is easy to build trust, be yourself, and know that you won't be betrayed. And we leave the starry peaks and descend into the forests of Ixtal, a wild and magically rich land where nature is more important than rules. Zyra is not just a part of nature, she's its predatory aspect. She does not seek intimacy, she conquers. Her so-called love is a symbiosis with a plant. She needs you as long as you are useful. Vulnerability, trust, and empathy are not her language. That is a super dangerous red flag. S tier. With her, you will literally disappear as a person. On the other end of the spectrum is Nidalee. She is also a child of nature, but she is free and wild. She is not predatory in a moral sense. She just lives by her own rules. She has a hard time with strangers, but she defends her own unconditionally. In a relationship with her, you need to accept her sharpness and boundaries, and not try to tame her. Then you will gain a reliable and honest ally. The yellow flag in the C tier is there for aloofness and difficulty in adapting. Kiana is bright, bold, and ambitious. She is not just confident, She's sure she's better than everyone else. She's dominant, competitive, and impulsive. She can impress, inspire, and excite, but she can also intimidate, ignore, and oppress. Relationships with her are a constant struggle for attention. She's a serious red flag and an A tier, not because she's a villain, but because she's a narcissist, and there is hardly room for two in her world. And finally, Nico. Bright, naive, and kind, but too simple to understand, almost childlike. She rejoices and grieves without understanding how it affects others. She needs to be guided, protected, and everything explained to her over and over again. In a relationship with her, you are more of a parent than a partner. Red flag in the B tier is there because of emotional immaturity and an inability to take real responsibility. We'll leave Ixtal in the magical forests and descend into the techno streets of Piltover and the foggy alleys of Zaun. Two worlds separated by tiers or floors, but united by contrasts. Here, power is not the magic of nature, but technology, authority, and will. And the female characters here are the same. Whole, sharp, but often morally wounded, but alive in their own way. Among them, Vi is one of the most honest. She doesn't lie, pretend, or play games. If she loves, she protects. If she's angry, she hits. She's someone who's used to making her own decisions. Her past has broken her heart, but it hasn't made her cruel. In relationships, she's a reliable support, but also a person who's difficult to read. She's not the one to open up at first. The yellow flag in the C tier is there not because she's dangerous, but because her silence can hurt more than words. Her sister, Jinx, oh brother, has taken a completely different path. It's not silence, but a scream. Not a wound, but an abyss. Her psyche is completely destroyed. Childhood trauma, loss, betrayal, everything is mixed up in her head. And now she lives in chaos. Jinx is capable of love in her own way, obsessively. But her love is fear of being abandoned, jealousy, paranoia, and outbursts, both emotional and physical. This is an S tier because in real life, a person with this personality is not just difficult. They can be genuinely dangerous to their partner, especially in moments of emotional turmoil. Relationships like these cannot be cured with care and patience. They cannot be healed this way. Only professional support and clear boundaries are needed. After her, Janna seems like a breath of fresh air, kind, gentle, and light. She's there when things are bad. She will support and save you. But there's a catch. She lives for those who suffer. And when you're okay, she leaves. It is hard to feel equal in a relationship with her. You're either the object of her care or completely uninterested. This is a serious red flag and an A tier because you're not a partner. You're a quote-unquote patient. And her love is always where the pain is. But Zeri is pure energy. From an early age, she grew up in the harsh conditions of Zaun, where she had to fight for justice every day. But this did not make her cruel. On the contrary, she remained sincere, kind, and honest. Her magic reflects her inner world. When she's angry, she sparkles. When she's happy, she energizes everyone around her. In relationships, Zeri is an easygoing partner. She doesn't play games, she doesn't sulk, nor does she manipulate. If she doesn't like something, she'll say so. If she loves, she shows it. She respects freedom, doesn't smother you with concern, but is always there when you need her. Green flag and the D tier because you can just be yourself with her. She's not perfect, but she is real, and that is enough to feel warmth and support every day. Renata Glask is the complete opposite. She also cares, but her care is a deal. She doesn't destroy with screams or tantrums. She acts precisely, cold-bloodedly, strategically. In her world, feelings are a weakness and relationships are a form of control. With her, it is easy to feel dependent, obligated, subordinate. Red flag B tier goes for the mask of attention that hides a harsh calculation. Caitlyn, on the other hand, is an example of a person whose feelings and mind go hand in hand. She is strict but fair, direct but not harsh. Her path is one of fighting injustice, even when it would be easier to back down. In relationships, she is stable, honest, and does not resort to manipulation. She is difficult to break, but easy to respect. The green flag D tier represents the fact that you can talk to her, argue with her, and definitely trust her. Camille is control in its purest form. Everything in her life is subject to duty, discipline, and efficiency. She doesn't waste time on emotions. She acts, cold, precise, without unnecessary words. Since childhood, Camille has lived under the pressure of status and responsibility. The loss of her parents, her brother's betrayal, and the need to give up on her weaknesses have turned her into a machine, both figuratively and literally. She replaced her heart with a mechanism, and since then, everything human in her has been subordinated to her goal. In relationships, she shows no vulnerability, does not tolerate weakness, and evaluates her partner from a rational standpoint. Being close, and closeness in general, is a threat to her. You either measure up, or you get in the way. Red flag, B tier. But if Camille is a machine by choice, Oriana is a machine in the literal sense. Oriana is a story about how the desire to help can turn a person into a mechanism. Out of a desire to do good, she sacrificed herself and literally lost her body. But her soul remained vulnerable, quiet and lonely. She continues to feel but expresses it in a different way. Her care is in her actions, not her words. Her love is quiet and unnoticeable. She will be there when times are tough, but she won't ask for anything in return. She doesn't know how to share or ask for things. Her inner restraint and rationality create a cold distance. The red flag in the B tier is there not only for emotional detachment, but also, let us say, for crazy self-sacrifice, which can be directed not only at family members, but also at mere acquaintances. In Oriana's case, this kind of played a very bad joke. She gave up parts of her body and turned into a machine. I consider it madness to sacrifice yourself, your own body, including your future, and simply everything you have for another person. It is true, devotion is undoubtedly a good character trait, but not to the insane extent that this female character displays. Therefore, you need to think very carefully when choosing a partner like this. And Seraphine, the one who hears souls, completes our list. She's the embodiment of kindness and sensitivity. Her love is gentleness, empathy, and a desire to understand. She feels the pain of others as her own and knows how to speak the language of support. With her, you get not only attention, but also emotional involvement. Green flag, D tier. With her, you can be yourself and be accepted. This concludes our analysis. We have looked at dozens of female heroes, analyzed their characters and behavior, and discussed what kind of couples they would make in real life. It is important to remember that League of Legends is a fantasy world, and that female characters here are often exaggeratedly symbolic. But this is what allows us to look at familiar traits: determination, coldness, caring, cruelty from a new angle. And if you recognize yourself or your friends in someone, don't rush to conclusions. It is still just a game. But sometimes it is through games that we can better understand reality. Thanks for watching. If you have any disagreements or thoughts about this tier list, feel free to leave a comment below the video. Also, let us know if you want the same breakdown for the red flags of male characters from League of Legends. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video over a mug of the finest ale in all of Runeterra.